Hello,
Hello,
hello. How you doing, my friend?
I'm great. Happy to be back on the Wingly.
But now you're not the host anymore.
Fortunately for everyone.
No, actually, I've seen your show. You get more involvement from the actual people on the crowd. So I don't know. Hey, Nathan, thank you for setting this up.
Hey Nathan and hey Elad.
Hey, and hello to all the people. This is our 33rd Wingley update show. We're gonna have two sessions today. We're gonna have Mark doing the changelog, and then we're gonna do some live hacking. And on the live hacking, we're gonna try to hack something without Elad sitting next to me. So usually Elad is hacking stuff, and I'm heckling him. Now I'm gonna hack stuff, and you're gonna be supporting me. Okay, not the same. No need to take the same exact roles. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to build a Slack bot, but let's first start with what has become a cornerstone in this show, and let's bring the intro for the changelog. Hey, Mark. How you doing, man?
Hello. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? We weren't here for 2 weeks. Or 4 weeks, sorry. So we missed the show.
Yep.
Did you see a lot of stuff accumulate over the changelog, or you just forgot about this and just diffed the last 2 weeks?
No, I didn't forget. It wasn't a crazy amount of stuff still.
Interesting.
Especially when because the changelog, I try to focus more on features or breaking changes or like really big fixes. So and I think we've been trying to focus on more regular size fixes, just like general stability and things that aren't as interesting to report on but are still important.
Yep.
Makes
so
sense.
Makes a lot of sense. So do you wanna share your screen? Are you ready for this?
yeah, it's there. It's ready.
Let's do it. Great.
So you can tell by you can see
Oh,
the change in the version and the numbers that it's actually not. It wasn't that crazy an amount of changes, I guess, overall either.
Yeah, we don't know how many changes there are. We know there's more than 19, maybe 20, maybe.
There's 76.
Okay.
Or sorry, okay. Changes is depends how you want to define that, because that's 76 commits to like our main branch.
Yeah.
Which
merge pull request, not merge. Yeah, merge pull request, but not releases, right? Because we have some queue that.
It's and you can also technically there might have even been a rollback or two in there. So which would be two commits that don't actually. Listen, it's not the math. I didn't go complicated on the math here.
So Shai has done 2 pull requests and 4 rollbacks.
But also a commit can sometimes fix 5 issues or contain pretty big changes, and so it's or sometimes it's just a doc change, like a one-line typo fix. Right. So there's a lot to say here in one diff.
Right. So 76 diffs. Okay. We got everything we could have gotten from this slide.
Yeah. So on to the first change from Chris. The log built-in function we have. Previously, the argument was a string type. You could see it. It would, if you tried to put anything else in there, it would say like, well, it's not a string, so get out of here. And the response most people would have to that for logging, things like enums or numbers, would be to simply wrap it in like a string and then interpolate it, which did work, which I think is surprising behavior for most. There's some kind of background into maybe why this wasn't like immediately done, and the PR where Chris implements this, I think, goes into the topic of like, what does it mean to like automatically convert something into a string, and also what does it mean to log something versus doing that. So there's still some more interesting thought to put into like what log actually is. But I think what Chris did is kind of the more like kind of obvious, like, or not obvious, so like what it should do, I guess, which is I want to like inspect this data.
Right.
So now I didn't list all the things that work, but it's the simpler stuff you would expect, like so enums, numbers,
Or
JSON. I think arrays of and collections of things that are also like stringable.
Structs, probably structs as well.
I don't think structs, unless
Really?
maybe that if they contain, and Chris is in the comments, he can help. But the problem with structs is that they can contain things that are not.
Well, like a
stringable.
bucket. Right.
Yeah, like it can contain classes.
Right.
Same thing with interfaces.
Right.
So probably not those. But
Okay.
I think most people usually try to do it for numbers and JSON. And enums. Those are pretty common to see.
Yeah, definitely. It still doesn't. I noticed this today. It still doesn't allow you to do an optional string. So no data protocols. Who's
this might there's a discussion in the GitHub discussion, like the forum thing,
Yep.
where there's talk about how like structs and interfaces, maybe we need to change shuffle some stuff around, and
got it.
a data protocol is kind of the maybe what a struct should be, which is to say just data, whereas right now we have behavior as part of structs because we allow classes. There's a whole rabbit hole to go down with that. So we're working within this log function is working within the framework we have currently.
So
yeah, I guess no optional string. So contributions welcome.
What's going on here?
But this is part of the whole problem of like I think people are used to in JavaScript when they console log something that's optional, and they'll sometimes see undefined.
Yep.
And I think, but is that what this log is for? If this log is for inspection, then yeah, I don't mind seeing undefined, no problem. That's the distinction between like string interpolation. For string interpolation, I don't think I want optionals to work. But for log, I kind of want to be able to log anything.
Yeah.
I see it as it's almost a debugging or verbose like logging tool, not like you get where I'm getting at. It's some nuance here to the answer.
Yep. I understand. Awesome. Hey Chris.
Cool.
Starting with Chris, like everyone, like every time.
Every time.
Like every time.
Good thing his name starts with C, and he usually makes cool changes.
Yep.
Okay, so change from Hassan to add secret ref. So this is in a long list of our kind of our current method for referencing existing infrastructure in AWS. So this lets you, using an ARN in AWS, to like you can create the secret ref, and then it'll have the same in-flight APIs available to you that you would use if you had created the secret yourself in your application.
Right.
Similar to bucket ref, and I think we have
nice.
Q ref and other ones.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Nice addition. Thank you, Hassan, for that.
Thanks, Hassan.
Did it skip one? Yes, it did. Change from friend Marcio. The publish in-flight method on topics is now variadic, so it supports sending multiple messages at once, or publishing multiple messages at once. Nice DX improvement, matches the other sorts of things that he also may have added. The queue pushing.
Right.
You can also do variadic. It has a variadic argument there as well. So nice improvement.
Nice. Thanks, Theo. Great job. Yeah, I think I've talked a little bit about this with him because on AWS there's actually doing this in batch. I mean, there's an option to do this in batch, basically kind of sending all of them together, but then it's limited to 10 events. So it kind of feels like when you go down the kind of vendor specific stuff, it goes down the rabbit hole. So someone is asking, is it in batch? I don't think it's in batch. I think it's one by one. Marcio is here, so maybe he will tell us whether it's in batch or not. We can also look at the code.
Yeah, awesome. I did not check how it worked under the hood. I think our queue pushing is not any more complicated than pushing each one individually.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's good. Okay. Nice to know that. Yeah. So this one is has a more in-depth
Yeah.
implementation for when it allows. I mean, it depends on what tools cloud providers or the simulator gives us to
Right.
implement.
Right.
So
So
that's
that
cool.
will basically kind of maintain FIFO behavior, if the topic is not FIFO, but but the cloud topic is not FIFO. But awesome.
Sweet. All right. So thank you, Marcio, for that. Oh my God.
Okay.
Don't know what happened.
To show your contribution, Mark.
It really wants to reject it.
So Marcio is basically saving us going through the SIM and the AWS. So it's in batch on the AWS and SIM itself. Awesome.
Sweet.
So
yeah, here's my thing. This is a new type of I don't know what to call it. A new type of thing, a new type of tool that you can have in the compiler to do some kind of special functionalities. So they're called intrinsics. They can be either functions or just like values in this case. So at dir name is the first one that has been added, where during at compile time, this basically becomes the current directory of the source file. This has been hacked around in a few ways in places, especially in winglibs that need to like maybe bundle additional files or just like execute some other stuff during pre-flight. But now it's a built-in, so now it's available to anyone that wants to use it. There's lots of use cases for this that are probably going to be explored, over time. But it kind of has been. You can go into many issues where a lot, especially, has been like, why doesn't it work yet? Basically. So I hope he's happy, and I know I've used it already as a means to like I just want to reference this path, but like I have to work around the fact like, okay, where is the entry point relative to this, and where does this code actually execute? And I don't want to care about any of that. I just give me the path relative to this current file I'm in right now.
Right.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, but you actually didn't you don't completely like the dir name, right? You wanted to have a path function that accepts.
I did want, so like basically what this is doing right now. I wanted that in one function, and so I have
/file.text would give you local file. Yeah, and I have to admit, I was not vocal about this. I was pitching for a dir name because it felt really, really easy. So I said, let's find out that Mark is wrong, and I search _ dir name on GitHub. I didn't find a single place where dir name is used without join. So you're correct, man.
Well, I think the crux here is that we're going to be exploring what it means to reference files locally, because it's very easy to shoot yourself in the foot with dir name. I think there's like there's kind of this, because this is only usable in pre-flight, and it really only makes inherent sense in pre-flight.
Right.
But there are cases where you do want to, especially in the simulator, you do want to use these files, these paths in relation to your in-flight, but then you kind of lose control there, because the compiler is doing all this work to make things run in flight, and it doesn't have understanding about these paths. So we have an issue open for like an example, like assets. Like what's the concept of like not only this file txt do I want to reference it, but like I want to make sure it's available in flight.
I want to pack it, basically, right?
Like if you're making a wing library, I need this information not only on this file system, but like on any file system. So like now it also needs to be packaged up for pre-flight, or be available. So there's nuances there, and I think the goal of dir name was to not over design something that we may be able to get rid of in the future.
Exactly.
I think when I'm saying that, I'm quoting a lot verbatim to justify that. I still kind of like the at path, but I do agree with the logic of, let's keep it simple.
Keep it simple. We'll figure this out. Yeah.
And then we'll have some more interesting like at asset or at I had another one I can't remember right now, but there's definitely some more to explore there, which I'm excited about.
Sure. Awesome, man. So thank you, Mark, for adding
Thank
the
you to
username.
me. Let's see if it'll explode again when I go to the next slide. Nope, that worked. Okay, cool. So this is some additions to the expect module, which I think has the most functions of any of our current built-ins, which I think is good to have an expressive ways to do test validations. Although technically this works outside of tests too, but this is for test validations. So match, does not match, okay, and fail. Match and does not match are for using regex to validate some string data. The okay is kind of like the built-in assert, except it allows also, I think, well, for one thing, I think it has a nicer message, and it also allows an optional message at the end. I should have included it because it's part of the API, but I didn't. You can add a message here to say when it fails.
Yeah.
And speaking of failing, this is kind of like expect.fail is kind of like throw. It's effectively a throw, but it's like it's like a nicer throw, I guess is the way to say it. A throw that exists in the context of a test and more formally announces that, like, hey, this case for failure is like, I know about this case of failure, I guess. Or it's like a this should not get here kind of error, especially.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
that's
from
Elad mentioning that this is first of all, this is from
Trino. I don't know how to pronounce, but Trino I think is his first contribution. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you very much. First contribution. Yes. And the lad is asking for expect source. Basically, should kind of take an insight function probably, or any closure actually.
Can you play the sound effect for contributions welcome?
Yeah, sure.
Do we have that on file?
Yeah, we have it.
Do we have the? I can do it if we need to.
Yeah, do it.
Contributions welcome.
Okay, nice. What do we have? We have sounds here. Let's hear them for a second. Okay, maybe like this. Contribution welcome.
Oh, okay. Just the sound effect was the.
Okay, great. We're making real progress with the effects here.
Yeah.
Contribution welcome. Awesome.
So thank you for that. Next up, we have change from SUF, which is the rename refactor ability in VS Code or anything that supports the language server. This I'm showing probably the simplest use case here, but this works. You can see what it's doing. It's renaming a symbol in the current file. It works for I believe it's like local variables and function arguments. I believe those are the two cases that are working right now. Oh, and I think type names. So like classes and interface name, like the names of the actual types themselves.
Nice.
And I believe there will be a follow-up to add support for like fields and fields of structs and classes and such. But I mean, this is already a huge, a big, what's it called? Commonly requested feature for VS Code. I think it's other than the ones that have been done already. I think this might actually be the top requested feature.
Oh, really?
I think so. I remember it was on the short list that I never did. So I really appreciate Sue for taking it on. And it works.
Yeah, nice. Thank you, Sue. Awesome.
Thank you. And another one from Sue. Oh yeah. So this has been I think this was initially found out from dog fooding, where wing tests, especially in AWS, by default previously it ran all the tests at once, and the Wing monorepo has a lot of tests. It has the most wing tests maybe of any project. I don't know if the Wing Cloud project has more. I haven't checked, but I'm gonna guess that we have more.
Yeah.
Really?
Cloud, yeah, no, we still think Cloud has less tests than Wing. Yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot. So I think we found out from dog fooding that yeah, you can't just run all of them at once because you run into usually quotas around creating and deleting resources. So
Right.
AWS won't let you create a bajillion buckets at once.
Right.
And there's even some simpler rate limits of just like even doing the deployments themselves. I mean, you'll run into rate limits is the crux of what I'm saying here. And so now you can customize it with this flag. You can, and I think it defaults to a small number. I think we could probably do some more interesting heuristics to figure out better defaults. But like starting with 10 was kind of just like anything but infinite is better, because starting like allowing infinite tests by default really was kind of a recipe for failure.
So it waits until you do Terraform destroy, basically kind of, until it starts over the next bulk. So
yeah, it will. I guess the way to phrase it is at any one moment there are only 10 tests or n number of tests doing their entire cycle. So including creation and destroy.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, very useful. I think this has helped our. We would often get failures from this. And
Interesting.
I don't think it's happen anymore because of quota. I think it was usually what was it, like CloudWatch logs was one of them. Because like every function would create a log group, and we would keep like creating and destroying log groups, and it didn't like that very much.
Yeah.
So thanks again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice work.
Thank you. So from other Alad, or no, actually I didn't have a. I had a feature of Alad B on here before, and I took it off, so I had that in mind.
Yeah, you weren't ready with the demo. I pushed you. Okay, awesome.
No, I just took it off for fun. I'm just kidding. I was trying to write it, and I was like, oh, out of time. Anyway, sorry, Alad B. I missed your one of your container logs.
Exactly.
Feature I was talking about. But so Alad added set env. So we already had env as in the util module to allow reading environment variables, and you can set them. Not like crazy complicated feature to mention here, but like this is one of the features of like, oh shoot, I can't do this. I can't set an environment variable. Oh no. Now you can.
Nice. Thanks a lot.
Sweet.
Nice.
And here's our finisher. So Yoav added doc strings. So these are with triple slashes. You can now annotate various types of things with documentation. This
nice. I didn't know that.
In, I think most places you would expect, or you would look at from other languages. Fields and type names and all that.
Nice.
And yeah, it's just working.
Triple slash comments. I didn't know that was a thing. Nice, Yoav. Awesome.
Yeah, it's currently the main use of it is for winglibs. When you import a winglib, you now get the documentation in Wing of that library. You don't have to like go look at the code or something. Also, the language server will display all this as well. So cool. And that's that is our last one, our big ending.
Nice. Thank you very much, Mark. This was a nice list. Thank you for all the contributors, and thank you for your hard work. Your first intrinsic function. That's the reason why you were pushing for the dir name. You don't care if it has an ampersand in the beginning. You're good with it.
See, will be more of those to come. More intrinsics.
Yep. Probably in 2 weeks. Awesome, man. Thank you very much. And before we do a live coding, we're gonna hear Paul and Pan. Feel good. Thank you, Mark, again.
Just a few seconds.
For just a few seconds. Bye-bye.
Bye, Mark.
Bye, Mark.